They go out for dinner with mom for birthday. They can only get a reservation at 5. So she just left.
I know she just got out of the front and she was going to go out. Did she like it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you take a picture?
No,
No.
didn't think so.
Hmm? How big was it?
Mhm.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Jim. Good for
Hey,
you.
told you, he's got, there, he's on time.
I got a phone call at like 5 minutes to 4.
Well, it's 4 o'clock, Jim, so,
I'm here. I'm here. Everybody else is here.
well, Karen was getting a little concerned you weren't gonna show.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay. Then I will ask for a motion to call the meeting to order. Greg and Stuart, thank you. Moved by Greg, seconded by Stuart, that the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby convenes at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, July 14th, 2021. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as circulated? Terry, wake up. Moved by Karen, seconded by Terry, that the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby approves the agenda for July 14th, 2021 hearing. Any additions, corrections? All in favor? And that is carried. Okay. The Committee of Adjustment hereby convenes a public meeting as per the Planning Act. Applicants and the public may speak at the public meeting. Notice of the decisions will be sent to applicants and to the public if requested. Any person may appeal a decision or condition of approval within 20 days after the notice of decision. Okay. And now I need a mover and seconder to accept the minutes of our last meeting as circulated. Terry and Greg, thank you. All right, moved by Terry, seconded by Greg, that the Committee of Adjustment of the Corporation Township of Seguin hereby accepts as read and circulated the minutes of its last hearing that took place on June 9th, 2021. Are there any corrections, additions? All in favor? And that is carried. Okay. I need to ask the committee if anyone has any pecuniary interests that they need to declare. None declared. Okay, thank you very much. And I will now ask the Secretary Treasurer to introduce the first application.
Thank you, Chair, and to the committee, as well as any members of the public joining us this evening. The purpose of minor variance application number A-2021-0021-M Shepherd's is to reconstruct deck with cottage addition, requesting a reduction of side yard setback, an increase in lot coverage, and an increase in maximum area of waterfront accessory structures while maintaining the existing front yard setback. We did receive correspondence, Chair, stating no objection was received from Ms. Taylor, and the committee was circulated that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone present that would like to speak to this application? No? This is the one we had last month, and they went back and cut the
And a
corner
month
off
ago.
and moved it back a little bit.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay. Are there any questions anyone on the committee wishes to ask? No? All right. Then can I have a mover and seconder to accept this motion? Stuart and Terry. Moved by Stuart, seconded by Terry, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A 2021-0021M Shepherd's to reconstruct a deck with cottage addition with the following variances to zoning bylaw 2006-125. Section 6.3, table 6.3, maximum lot coverage allowed 10%. The proposal would be 10.85%, requiring a variance of 0.85%. 2, section 6.3, table 6.2, minimum front yard, 20 meters. A variance of 10 meters is being proposed to recognize the existing 10-meter waterfront setback. Section 6.3, table 6.2, minimum interior side yard 5 meters. The proposed side yard setback is 4.4 meters, requiring a variance of 0.6 meters. And 4, section 4.1.9D, waterfront accessory structures 12 square meters. A variance of 26 square meters is proposed to recognize the existing shoreline structure of 38 square meters. Subject to the following conditions. The owner applies for and obtains a building permit within 2 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. And the extent of the variances will be limited to that showing the sketch plan attached to the notice of meeting. Any further comments, questions? All in favor? And that is carried.
The application has been approved and the applicant will get a letter in the next few days, and the 20-day appeal period starts now. Thank you.
Okay, so that was 16 Cougar. I need an assistant just to keep up with all the paper. Okay,
Fiona joined the meeting.
all right. Could I ask the Secretary Treasurer to introduce the next application?
Thank you, Chair. To the committee, the purpose of minor variance application number A-2021-0025-H Wellings is to demolish and replace an existing boathouse and dock, requesting a reduction in side yard setback, an increase in lot coverage, and an increase in dock length. No correspondence was received. Thank you, Chair.
Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Savas Faradas. I'm from Plan Muskoka in Huntsville. I'm the agent for this application. My mailing address is PO Box 5384, Huntsville, Ontario, P1H 2K7. I do have I guess a short presentation. It may be helpful for me to share my screen and show the site plan while I speak. Is that okay with everyone?
Sure.
Okay, so let me just do that. So hopefully everyone can see that there. So basically, as staff has indicated, the proposal for this application is to demolish an existing 2-slip boathouse, replace it with a new 2-slip boathouse, which requires some variances, including lot coverage and some side yard setback variances as well. The reason being for this, you can probably see the configuration of this property is such that the shoreline kind of runs in here through an angle, and these side lot lines run on an angle to the shoreline as well. And when you project them outwards, they sort of cut right through the actual developable area for shoreline structures property. So even though this boathouse, for instance, is probably like 40 meters or something like that from this side lot line, shoreline here, the actual setback is taken from the projection of that line. So while the existing dock is 9.9 meters from the side yard and the existing boathouse is 12 meters from the side yard, the resulting setbacks are very similar to that. There's a slight reduction. It's just mainly because the building is being pushed in this direction a little bit further away from an environmental protection zone that exists here on the shoreline. And in doing that, it pushes the building a little bit further closer to this side yard, even though it makes it really, when you're out there looking at the, like standing on this dock, looking in either direction, you don't feel like you're anywhere near the side of the property. You can see where the neighboring boathouse actually is. It's pretty far from here, but it's just the way that the lot line runs adjacent or on an angle to the shoreline that really the situation gets created. They've also experienced a little bit of water depth issues. So they've just pulled the structure just a little bit further out from the shoreline. And that's caused just a 1 meter encroachment into beyond the required or the maximum projection. And that's just right here where my cursor is. That little portion of the dock goes beyond this dashed line that I've shown there, which is the 15-meter offset from the shoreline. So that requires slight variance. And also with lot coverage, the lot coverage variance is very minor, only 0.5% that's required. And looking at the property as a whole, it's really well vegetated. The shoreline is extremely well vegetated. And it looks like a property that could accommodate 0.5% lot coverage without causing any issues in terms of looking overdeveloped. So I feel that the application meets the 4 tests of a minor variance. I've read staff's report. Staff has recommended the approval of the application, and it also meets the 4 tests of a minor variance as well. I have to concur with them on that, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, though. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any members of the committee that have any questions? No? I think some of this application just proves that the law is questionable. It's nowhere near the lot line, but anyhow, we'll vote on it anyway. All right, could I have a mover and seconder for this application, please? Terry and Greg. All right, moved by Terry, seconded by Greg, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A 2021-0025H Wellings to demolish and replace an existing boathouse and dock with the following variances to zoning bylaw 2006-125. 1, section 4.28.2D, maximum dock length equals 15 meters. The proposed dock length is 16 meters, requiring a variance of 1 meter. Section 6.3, table 6.3, maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of shoreline, allowed 6.5%. The proposal is 7%, requiring a variance of 0.5%. Section 4.28, table 4.3, minimum boathouse side yard setback equals 15 meters. The existing boathouse currently has a side yard setback of 12 meters. The new boathouse would be located 9.2 meters from the side lot projection, requiring a variance of 5.8 meters. And section 4.28, table 4.3, minimum dock side yard setback equal 15 meters. Existing dock is currently 9.9 meters. The new dock would be located 8 meters from the side lot projection, requiring a variance of 7 meters. Subject to the following conditions. The owner applies for and obtains both a demolition permit and a building permit within 2 years of the date of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. And the extent of the variances will be limited to that shown on the sketch plan attached to the notice of public meeting. Any further comments or questions? All in favor? And that is carried.
Thank you, Chair Savas. The application has been approved and you will get a letter in the next few days indicating the 20-day appeal period.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, the next application on the agenda is the CN Cone application, which they have requested we defer. So could I have a mover and seconder to defer that application? Stuart and Karen. Moved by Stuart, seconded by Karen, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby defers variance application A 2021-0027H Sandcombe to construct a new cottage for the following reasons. Applicant has requested deferral to amend a requested variance. Staff are required to recirculate. Any questions? All in favor? And that is carried. Okay. Ask the Secretary Treasurer to introduce the 4th application.
Thank you, Chair. And the last one of the evening, the purpose of minor variance application A-2021-0028-M Campbell and Moody is to construct an addition to an existing cottage and deck, requesting a reduction of front yard setback for the cottage and maintaining the existing front yard setback for the deck. Correspondence in support of the applications was received from various neighbors, including Susan Campbell, Linda Blymar, and Karen and Dan Legacy. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this application? Yes, sir.
Yes, you can hear me there?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Douglas Lawrence. I'm an architect agent acting for Fiona and Alan, who are also, I see there, watching proceedings. I just wanted to first thank actually Candace and Lauren, because they were very, very helpful in sort of deciphering a lot of the bylaws and coming up with sort of a compromise solution. I think that worked really well. So they really worked with us to make something work, which was really appreciated. Our first visit to the site was with the structural engineer last fall, and right away he said that there were a lot of things that had to be done to upgrade it, new foundations, the deck had to come off for safety reasons. So there's a lot of work that had to be done. And the owners needed to do some changes just to make the old very, very tight layout work. Still keeping just 3 bedrooms that they have now, 1 bathroom, but just making the layout a bit better. So the choice they had was really to rip it down and build a new one further back, or try to work with the existing. And it just seemed like, well, they did not want a huge modern cottage. They wanted to keep it the same character. But the site is also very steep and irregular and rocky outcrops, and also very wooded with a lot of mature trees. So any rebuilding of the site would require a lot of removal of existing mature trees all the way up the site, and potentially blasting. Access and building would be very difficult. So it was decided that the most sensitive environmentally solution would be to work with the existing, minimal impact. We take down the small addition at the end, rebuild that in line with the existing cottage. Now, the issue here was that the cottage itself is angled slightly to the water line. And the only place on the site we could do that small addition is only 1.33 meters, is at the north end, which is closer towards the water. So even though we're not moving the cottage in terms of closer, we're keeping that line, it's still, the addition is slightly closer. Also, the solution I said with Candace and those guys was that the deck out in front, rather than keeping that in parallel with the cottage, we decided to run it more parallel to the water line. So it's angled with respect to the cottage. So it's very, very narrow at the far end by the addition. It's basically just a walkway to get out, and then it's wider further on. So I think that's a really good compromise to make that work and be more reflective of the water. We also went out on the water to look at what you could see from out there, and you couldn't even see the cottage. I couldn't even get a good picture of it because of all the water, the trees and the waterfront. So there's very little impact that way. And I also looked at previous C of A decisions. I know you guys don't work by precedent. Each case is specific and unique, but I want to make sure that we weren't doing something that was really out of character with the township. And it seemed like there were a lot that were very similar in terms of scope and scale. So felt good about that. And also Candace mentioned, we have now 4 people or 5 people, neighbors that have written in letters of support. So that's everybody that surrounds them. So I really do think that it's minor in nature. We've really tried to work with what's there, the most environmentally sensitive way to do it. And I think it's really the best way to go with the site. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Are there any committee members that have any questions? So I just have one. The whole deck is coming down?
It has to. It's not even safe to stand on.
Okay, so yeah, I wondered at the triangle whether you were going to add on, but if you're completely replacing that.
Yeah, so we that gives us the option of doing that angled line on it. Which,
okay. All right. Could I have a mover and a seconder for this motion, please? Terry and Greg. Moved by Terry, seconded by Greg, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A 2021-0028M Campbell and Moody to construct an addition to an existing cottage and deck with the following variances to zoning bylaw 2006-125. 1, section 6.3, table 6.2, minimum front yard equals 20 meters. Existing setback of 10.5 meters. Proposal will reduce the required front yard setback to 8.5 meters, resulting in a variance of 11.5 meters. 2, section 6.3, table 6.2, minimum front yard deck, 20 meters. A variance of 10 meters is being proposed to recognize the existing 10-meter front yard setback for the deck. Subject to the following conditions: that the owner applies for and obtains a building permit within 2 years of the date of decision of committee adjustment. And 2, that the extent of the variances will be limited to that shown on the sketch plan attached to the notice of meeting. Any further comments or questions? All in favor? And that is carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Douglas. The application has been approved and you'll get a letter in the next few days indicating the 20-day appeal period. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. That was quick. Other business. Is there any other business? Yes.
Hi, Michelle Scapers. We had, I thought we were on the meeting agenda for today for our minor variance. We had met with you last month and we were revising the deck from what we had initiated back from being so close to the water, but I got kicked out of the meeting right off the start. Just there was some freezing and stuff. So I'm not sure if I missed it or we're not on.
You did, yes. We tabled it, we passed it, and you will get a letter in the mail saying that you're good to go.
Okay, my husband is on site in Perry Sound, so he couldn't be here. So I was trying to FaceTime with him when it came up, but I'm not sure if he had any questions or not, but does he contact someone if he does, or is there any?
Sure, if you call the staff at the office, if you've got any questions, they'll be happy to handle it.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good, perfect.
Okay, do we have any other business? Do we have anything in the pipeline for next month?
Yes, we do. I believe we have 3 applications on the go right now, a possible 4th one.
Okay. Alrighty then. All right, then I guess I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Stuart, Terry. Moved by Stuart, seconded by Terry. The Committee of Adjustment of the Corporation of the Township of Sigmund does hereby adjourn this hearing at 4:22 p.m. on Wednesday, July 14th, 2021. The committee will hold its next hearing at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, August 11th, 2021, or at the call of the chair, unless the Secretary Treasurer has not received complete applications for committee consideration. All in favor? And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. See you now.
Okay, see you guys.
Yeah.
Lauren, before you go, when you send out the report next month, sorry, you're muted. I couldn't hear you. When you send out the report next month, instead of sending an email to request a hard copy, could you just, when you send it out, could you just leave 2 hard copies at the front?
Yeah.
And either Karen and I will make arrangements to pick it up that same day.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. We'll leave it as soon as we send out that email. We'll have it a hard copy sitting on the table for you.
That'd be perfect.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Okay, thank you.